We're off for a walk in the woods today on a red berry hunt. Last time we were here, which was sometime towards the end of April, we observed 4 different kinds of red fruits. Well, the plants for 4 different kinds of red fruits, which was cherries, raspberries, wild strawberries and red currants. Today it's towards the end of June, it's about the 21st of June I think, and we're going to come back and see if we can actually find the fruits. So this here is brambles, this is blackberries. What are you doing? So blackberries flowering but not fruiting yet. We shan't have fruits until the probably end of July. So we're going to go for a little wander through and see what we can find. Can't remember which way we went. Was it down this way? I think there's a path down here, isn't there? Yeah, that was on the way back though, wasn't it? So we might be a little bit late for wild cherries, but sometimes you can find in a slightly overshadowed microclimate there might be something that's hanging on. I think this is actually a cherry tree here. Yeah, there have been cherries. There are the stalks of them, but it's been quite a dry spring, so it might be that the crop has failed this year. So we might be out of luck for red cherries. Now I did say red berries, and just to head the nitpickers off at the pass, only one of the things we're going to be looking for today is actually a berry, which is red currants. Cherries are a drupe, strawberries are a compound fruit, as are raspberries. So actually I think the strawberries might be an agglomerate fruit or something like that anyway, but 4 kind of red fruits we're looking for today, but I think we've dipped out on one of them already. Here's an interesting plant we'll have a look at down here. This is yellow rattle, and it is semi-parasitic on grasses. So this is a thing that is found in hay meadows, and it keeps the grasses sort of under control. This is one of these things where apparently this was a sign for haymakers in the past, that once this appeared and seeded, it was time to cut your hay. Now these are the seed pods of yellow rattle, and we will see why it's called yellow rattle, because, well, I don't know if you can hear that. When it dries out, it rattles. And that's all the seeds just dispersing. That's what the seeds look like. Now we know this plant, this very large dandelion clock-like structure here, is the seed heads of goat's beard. So, and these are the bits that are edible actually, the little flower buds here. I shan't be picking those today, but I might take a few of these seeds home for my little wildflower meadow. Wild strawberries. Now that is the foliage of wild strawberries, but I don't see any fruits here. Not really quite the right place. What we would need is a kind of clearing where perhaps the trees have been felled and the undergrowth has had a chance to just recover a little bit. But yeah, there's plenty of foliage here of wild strawberries. And also some immature wild strawberry fruits there. So that is a wild strawberry that's fruiting, but it's not ripe yet because it's in a shady spot. So I am starting to get a bit more confident that perhaps we'll find some in an area with a bit more light and sunshine. But yeah, more wild strawberries down there, just not ripe yet. Of course, we will have to be lucky and beat the blackbirds to them, because as soon as these turn red, they will be attractive to birds and the birds will come and get them. There are a few things we could forage today. So these are hogweed buds. So there's a flower bud inside of that, and that's actually quite good eating. You can cut that, steam that. It's like a tiny little cauliflower. It doesn't taste of cauliflower, which some might say is a benefit. But yeah, the young shoots and flower buds of hogweed, quite edible. Jenny's just spotted an orchid. Look at that, common spotted orchid. Spotted as in it has spots on the leaves. So yeah, quite a few of these common spotted orchids along here. It's a good thing to see. And when we were here in spring, this place was just clothed with wild garlic, ramsons. This is all that's left of that now. So the seeds, some rather old looking leaves, and a lot of yellow leaves. And this is one of the reasons why I know this was not lily of the valley, because if this was lily of the valley at this time of year, it would be still growing very green and strong. Lily of the valley has leaves that persist a lot longer than wild garlic, so that's one way you can tell the difference. Obviously that's not a very useful thing if you just want immediate information in spring, but immediate information isn't always what foraging is about. It's sometimes more about learning the land that's around you and learning what's there so that you can rely on it rather than just hoping for an instant answer. Right, lots more wild strawberry foliage here, and we are coming out into a bit of an open area, so we might be lucky. At the moment my red berry scorecard has nothing, no achievements attained on it. Nothing yet, but we've got a way to go still. This is all the geranium species here, cranesbill. It's Herb Robert, I think, actually. Hard to see any strawberries if they are lurking in there, because it's got loads of red leaves on this plant. Sounds of farm activity happening down there. Sound of somebody driving a post, I think. And this is where we saw a whole hillside of wild garlic, and of course most of it's gone now. Replaced with heart-stung ferns, looking really, really fresh and healthy. And shuttlecock ferns. I think that's called a shuttlecock fern. But, so this bit here, there must be a little spring here, I reckon, because it's just a sudden outgrowth of lush vegetation. So I reckon there must be a little chalk spring that comes out the hillside here. Yeah, another little damp spot here. You can tell this is obviously constantly moist because there's mosses all over the bits of wood and rock. Plants are really green and lush, and look at this, there's actually ramsons, wild garlic there, that's still fresh enough. I would pick that and eat that, even though it's now 20th of June, which is just very unusual to find that plant in that fresh state at this time of year. Some more of it over there. I'm not going to pick it because it's the only ones around. So we're now down the bottom of the hill, and there's a lovely collection of common spotted orchids. Look at all of those. I would love to try and get these established in our little wildflower meadow in the garden. It is a suitable place for orchids. Orchids tend to grow where they want to, they're really fickle, so I did look at buying orchid plants, but I can't be very certain that the ones I'm seeing advertised on sale on the internet are ethically sourced. It's illegal to come and dig them up, obviously, and yeah, I don't want to go and buy a plant that's just been dug up out of some woodland somewhere. I would rather not have them. So I think I might try and find some seeds, and we'll scatter the seeds on the garden and let them take their chances. Orchids are weird because they require mycorrhizal fungi to get them going, and sometimes if they just don't want to grow, they just won't grow. Or sometimes the seeds will stay there in the soil for hundreds of years until the right conditions come along. So I might find some seeds and we'll scatter them and see what happens, but I'm certainly not going to go and buy some plants of unknown provenance. Right, this is the sort of place we might find wild strawberries though. This plant here is St. John's wort. In the past it's been used for all kinds of medicinal purposes. St. John's wort, I think it might still be used in medicine. I think it might actually still have a recognised and clinically proven use of some sort, not sure. Right, this is where I was expecting that I might find wild strawberries because it's just a little bit more open. The foliage is here. There is sunshine, so we can look around and see what we can find. Well, again, lots of wild strawberry foliage here. And I thought that was a tiny strawberry, but it's not. It's a cranespill or Herb Robert seed pod. Well, it's not looking good for the red berry scorecard right now. And the cows agree. Maybe it's just not been a moist enough. We have had very little rainfall this year, although this location is quite damp. Maybe it's just not the year for strawberries. This big pit here, I might have misled you about this. Last time we were here, I talked about this being a quarry for clay or chalk to make cob walls. And it may indeed be that, but I've been seeing these all over the place in Dorset, and some of them may be artificial quarries that people have dug to get building materials. But also there's a lot of sinkholes in the limestone geology of Dorset, so it could just be that this is one of these places where rainwater has washed away and eroded the limestone underneath, and then the topsoil has just sunk into a pit. Further corroborated by the fact that this is part of a kind of little valley that goes down this. There's a kind of channel that goes down here, so this could have been a watercourse, and watercourses drain into the limestone underneath, and then if it's slightly acidic it erodes the limestone and away goes the limestone. So it could be a sinkhole. I've been seeing a lot of them are sinkholes, but don't know whether this one is artificial or natural. There's a foxglove in there. That's always nice to see. Very pretty spring plant. So these are raspberry canes, and that's where the fruit should be. They're looking rather underdeveloped. We might find some. We might be a bit early for raspberries. These might be kind of autumn fruiting. Not going well so far. I don't know. Ah, I have found a red berry. This is a red currant. One solitary red currant right in there. So there we go. Get to check off one thing on the scorecard. Red currants. Well, red currant singular. Let's give it a taste. Gosh, quite sour. Not surprising. Wild red currants are not overly sweet. Right, well maybe we'll find some more of those. Come on, dog. Now, come on. That's bigger than your head. Come on. You're not having that rock. It's bigger than your head. Come on. You idiot. Lots of raspberry canes, lots of raspberry fruits, but not ripe raspberries. Eva, what are you doing? Right, so it looks like maybe red currants are going to be the only thing we find any of today. There was a bush way at the top of this hill somewhere that was much more abundant in flower, so maybe we'll pick a... Sorry, I can't get my breath back. Maybe we'll pick a red currant or two. Once again, out of breath in a video. That's where we've climbed, up this hill here and round. And we've got more hill to climb. And still, I've only found one berry. So this is a red currant bush. And those are red currants, except there's something missing, isn't there? The red. I can see one red one down there. So I reckon that is probably my red berry hunt. Technically not a failure. Right, here we go. This is a bit more like it. Wild strawberries. Can you see them? I can see them. Actually, lots of them. There we go. Dozens and dozens of wild strawberries. That is a bit more like it. Jenny, would you like a wild strawberry? Here we go. Let's pick pick a couple of other really nice ones as well, complete with a tiny insect friend which has crawled away. Right, there you go. I'll let you have the honour of tasting the first and second. Oh. Yeah, I'll take them both. Let me know what you think. Good?
Oh yeah, very sweet.
Right, I'm going to have one. Go and grab one now. Well, they're really nice actually. Right, a couple of beautiful wild strawberries. Oh my gosh, they're good. It's the aroma as much as anything. Okay, well, that I think is the success factor for the red berry hunt. That's the thing that turned it from being a somewhat disappointing ordinary nature ramble into an actual berry picking trip. How about that? Oh, they're so delicious. So that is a bit more like it. That's wild strawberries in abundance like I've never seen before. All the way at the bank there. You obviously like this little spot. Down there too, all the way in there. I've literally never seen wild strawberries doing that kind of productivity before. And they're still flowering as well. These are the flowers, so they're still producing. Quite remarkable. Cows think so too. Or maybe they disagree. I don't speak cow. What a treat. Yeah, I'm just amazed by this. I've never before seen wild strawberries growing in this kind of abundance where you can actually end up picking an actual handful of strawberries. Don't worry, it's not the strawberry police. It's tempting to say we'd take these home and make something out of them, but really I think the best way to enjoy these is just by the handful right here where they're growing and freshly picked. So here we go. So delicious and fresh, and I've left plenty for the birds. There's no way I could pick them all. Now I have again got raspberry canes here, but the fruits just look really dry and underdeveloped. Plant doesn't look too healthy either, and I think this is just rainfall that's caused this. So I don't think we're going to find raspberries unless we're really lucky and find one that's in a kind of unusually sheltered and moist spot. You never know. Yeah, more raspberries there, but all looking very sad and dry. Never mind, we found a couple of red currants, a ton of strawberries, and the strawberries were really the treat. So, oh, I see a raspberry. Look, I can see one there. It's not worth wading into those bushes to pick it because it's a very dry and dried up looking little specimen. I can see, actually there's one I can reach though. Then I can have my point on my scorecard. Here we go. Oi, oh, brambles and nettles, ouch. There we go, 1, 2, 3 little wild raspberries. So at least I can check it off on the scorecard. Let's see if I can pick that without dropping it. Well, kind of squished it a little bit, but there we go. That's my third thing on the scorecard, which is wild raspberry. Very sad little specimen, but we found one. Tastes really good though. A bit on the dry side, but actually the flavour and aroma is quite incredible there. Almost like a lemony flavour to it, interestingly. So we found raspberries. Right, we find ourselves in this beautiful wildflower meadow. Look at that. Oxeye daisies over there. More goat's beard seed heads. Goat's beard, also known as Jack, go to bed at noon. Rosebay willow herb. Looks like it's going to be a fantastic spot for blackberries. Look at all these bramble flowers. What's up with you? You just frolicking in the flowers? Yeah, look at you go, yeah. This really is rather lovely actually, this. Obviously it's been mowed. This has been cut or grazed probably once or twice a year, and that's what allows the wildflowers to grow. This is not left to nature as such, this is managed. If this was left alone, trees would grow here and it would turn into forest. But look at all the butterflies and bees on all of the flowers. Purple flower, by the way, here is knapweed. And that may be where some deer have slept overnight. It could be where some people have sat and had a picnic, yes. I see a cherry tree over here, so just in a kind of last-ditch attempt to get 4 marks on my scorecard, on my red berry scorecard, I'm going to go and see, are there any cherries left on that cherry tree? It doesn't look very hopeful. Have a look up underneath. So you can tell it's a cherry tree from the bark because it's got this kind of horizontal banding on it. And obviously if we'd been here in spring, well, we were here in spring, we saw it in bloom, but I can't see a single cherry, which either means it's not been a great year for cherries, or maybe we're just a little bit late. I see a cherry. I see the cherries now. So here we go, that's a cherry, but it's not red, not ripe. So again, that's probably down to rainfall, because they're not very abundant, so I reckon it's probably dropped a lot of its fruits. So I don't know whether you count that as a score or not. We have found cherries. Those are indeed wild cherries. They're just not edible because they're not ripe. And actually now I look, there's quite a few of them up there, but not as many as I would normally expect to see on a tree this size. So cherries don't look like they're going to come to much this year, but at least we had strawberries. So I hope you've enjoyed joining me on that red berry hunt today. I think in the end we did okay. 3 out of the 4 target fruits found, although really strawberries were the winner today. And cherries just looks like maybe it's not the year for those. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.